Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ali bin Jassim, Secondary School for Boys, English Department, Academic Year 2017-2018. Our lesson today is entitled Argumentative Essay, Discussion Essay, Pros and Cons Essay, and it will be on Medical Experiments on Animal presented by Walid Darwish. In your test, you have a prompt, a situation and task, a question like this. Situation: you have had a class discussion about animal testing in the interest of medical research. Okay, what do you want? Write an argumentative essay discussing the pros and cons of medical research on animal. Write your essay justifying your arguments. Once you have a question like this, you have to elicit some information. Number one, you have to decide what your topic is. Number two, you have to decide what your essay is like. Is it argumentative or persuasive, the type of your essay? Then you have to fill in your planning diagram to make sure you have your arguments. And finally, you have to use the appropriate linkers to introduce your topic sentences for pros, for cons, to list your points, to give your examples. Let's start. What's the relation between this program, the opposing direction, الاتجاه المعاكس, and our lesson today, the argumentative essay? Of course, there is a clear link between them. This program is a typical argumentative. You play the role of Faisal al-Qasim. You appear at the beginning of your writing to introduce your topic and to state that it has supporters and opponents. Be careful. Never give your opinion at the very beginning. If Faisal gave his opinion at the beginning, the guests are gonna kill him because it's clear that he is biased towards one of them. Then he gives the mic to the man supporting the topic. This man tries hard to persuade the audience. He cites his arguments, support it with evidence, and then gives examples. Faisal again gives the mic to the other man who does his best to support his opinion, which of course is against the topic. Okay, he mentioned his arguments against and supported or them with persuasive techniques and examples. Again, at the end, Faisal appears to conclude, and he can weigh arguments upon what they said. He can say advantages outweigh disadvantages or the opposite. This is our planner. Here we have the topic, and then here we mention the arguments for the topic, two arguments and their evidence or justification. Again, we have two arguments against the topic in the third paragraph, and finally we conclude. And as you see, Faisal appears here, or you as a writer, and then the supporting side, the opposing side, and finally you conclude. Most importantly, you have to use linkers which link all these ideas. Your paragraph, as mentioned in our book, in the first paragraph you should state the topic. In the second paragraph you should mention arguments in favor or supporting supporting evidence or examples. In paragraph 3 you have to mention arguments against, supporting evidence or examples, and finally you have to summarize, weigh your arguments, and draw a conclusion, maybe to make us a recommendation. You can mention your opinion if you want, but through weighing arguments. You can use these useful phrases to introduce topic sentence to express points for the topic, namely paragraph 2. You can use there are a number of benefits, there are a number of arguments in favor of the topic. To introduce topics sentence to express points against, on the other hand, there are a number of disadvantages or arguments against the topic. And to list your points, because you mentioned two arguments and you should use listing linkers To begin with, to start with, first of all, firstly, at the beginning, and then secondly, furthermore, in addition, what's more. Of course, to introduce your examples and justifications, you can use, for example, for instance, this is because of, this is due to, this is due to the fact that, this means that, this way, consequently, and so on. And to conclude, namely your last paragraph, to sum up as a conclusion, all things considered, all in all, it's clear that. Okay, now I will present a model which can be used to do these functions. In your first paragraph, stating your topic and stating the type of essay, you can say, have you ever thought about the effects testing on animal has on our life? Without doubt, testing on animal plays a major role nowadays, but it's a controversial topic. But it has supporters and opponents, but it has advantages and disadvantages, but it has pros and cons. Okay, then your second paragraph, in which you should mention 2 arguments for the topic, and each argument is supported and explained. It's obvious that there are several advantages to testing on animal. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly, and then you mention your first argument for the topic, support your argument with persuasive technique, and explain how the persuasive technique is linked to your argument and justifies it. Secondly, your second argument, your support and explanation. In your third paragraph, you have to mention 2 arguments against the topic. On the other hand, testing on animal has its serious drawbacks. To begin with, and mention your first argument against, support and explain it. What's more, mention your second argument and support and explain it. Of course, your arguments here are against the topic. To conclude, you can use, to sum up, testing on animal affects us and our world in different ways. Although there are disadvantages to it, I think the benefits outweigh them. By doing this, inshallah, you have written a perfect argumentative essay, and inshallah, you can get the full mark. Thank you and see you again.